and wide eyes. I can't get my eyes that wide.
Yeah. No, mine were huge. Yeah, wide eyes. What's up, chat?
Just about said good morning, but it's 2 p.m. Good afternoon.
Good morning, chat. It's morning somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah. So, guys, yesterday we talked about Hyperskate and all that, and did the thing. If you would please follow our Twitter account for the game, that would be really cool. It'll help a lot. It's brand new. We just got it going. That'll be where we're going to dump stuff like directly related to Hyperskate on the social medias other than our normal channels. But that'll be another good way to keep in touch with what's going on there. So please go follow that and help us boost the signal. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's see. So what are we doing today? Okay, so Tony's going to be playing a game called Lorn's Lure. It's a first-person like exploration game. What's up, Ramblin'? Yeah, I don't know a whole bunch about it, but I think that's kind of the point. So while Tony plays, I'm going to talk about like design decisions. This is a game made by one guy. I think Tony was telling me that it's like a solo dev.
Yeah, mostly solo dev. I think he might have contracted out like music or something like that. That's really the only reference that I've seen to him having some help. So his name is Rubeki Games on Twitter.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job, and I saw him posting a lot about this throughout the dev journey. And while I guess I find that like sometimes I enjoy watching, the development of a game that I might not necessarily play, and then I don't end up actually playing it when it comes out. This was one game that I kind of like watched all the way through the development process, and when it came out, I was very quick to be like, I want to buy that and play that. It looks really cool. So
awesome.
And it has turned out to be really good. I really enjoy it, and I'm interested to hear Vince's opinion of it, and what he thinks about some of the things that they did. I find that it does a super good job with the level design of kind of directing you where to go without making it obvious in any way, shape, or form. Like a lot of the time, I just feel like I got to be heading the wrong direction, and I kind of have naturally ended up heading where I'm supposed to. So yeah, cool. Just a lot of cool stuff like that. So we can just get right into it here. I'm gonna just start back over from the beginning. I have played through the first 3 levels, and that has taken me about 6 hours originally. I think it's going to go quite a bit faster this time because I kind of know where to go and what to do to some extent. So this game feels like it could be a really fun game to get into kind of speed running and stuff like that at the end. So yeah, let's kick it off. And you guys will just have to tell me if I need to turn the game up for you or anything.
Yeah, I'm going to check volume levels real quick. So I'm going to mute my mic and just go ahead and talk for a little bit, Tony, and I'll tell you what I hear.
Yep. And then there's going to be a cutscene here that probably be good to check the volume with. So we'll get it going. I think I might have hit the wrong button. Let me back it up here. So restart.
No audio from the game, Tony.
It's currently just like some bird sounds. I am seeing levels though, so. I turned it up a little bit.
I hear bird sounds, but they're really quiet. Oh, thank you, Brightside. Love having you here today.
Oh, thank you, Brightside.
Oh, I got to turn myself down. Sorry, one second. Okay, how's that for like sweet frequencies of echoing? Songbirds of our generation. Fractal Groove is actually a thing, but that account is like they haven't posted anything in a long time. What's up, Acid? But yeah, we should have some like bird noises and shit going on. 253 years in the hole. Doing some matrix jumping. Let's go. Yeah, Tony is still really, really quiet. Josh, I had to turn it all the way up to 100, and then I could hear a little bit, but there's not very much sound happening right now.
Yeah, it's just like ambient noise and stuff right now. So when we get to the gameplay, there'll probably be a little bit more, but there's probably not a ton to hear. There's no talking.
I didn't hear. Yeah,
just...
no voice acting. It's like, yeah, it's just ambient noise, like whooshes and birds and shit. What's up, Rio? So for you guys who may have missed it at the top of the stream, I was saying we started a new account for Hyperskate on Twitter. So please go check that out, follow, like it, like the posts and stuff. It'll help a bunch. We've only got a few followers on there so far, like 10. So any help is going to be awesome.
Alrighty, I
dude,
turned it up a little bit, so
really cool.
Hopefully that'll help.
Okay, I'm double checking.
It's just footsteps.
Yeah, your sound is good now. Okay. It seems good to me.
Okay, so yeah, in the intro cutscene, we learned that our character used to live in like a artificial habitat, like biosphere type thing. I'm not positive that they knew that that's what it was while they were in there, but one day they found a door, and the door never opened, and they kind of just like hung out by it a lot. And then one day it did open, and they walked through it, and then it closed behind them. And now they've been exploring the space that they ended up in for 253 years, looking for that fractally holographic bird thing. And that's where we're picking up here. And they said that their power source is starting to fail, and they probably don't have too much longer left to live. So they want to try to figure out, how to save themselves or get out before then. So,
sweet.
We're gonna die immediately. Nice.
Oh no. I think the first thing that I noticed in this game is compression and expansion, like Frank Lloyd Wright stuff in spatial design. There's a lot of compression going on purpose. They want you to feel in tight and like you're exploring something that is very close. So all your movements are going to be really precise and tight here. Now it's starting to open up a little bit. Lighting is really important. They're creating a sense of scale with how dark everything is and just giving you little points of light like that purple thing down there.
Yep, so I have the ability to zoom in. I can look around, see where I'm going. They put these crystals in the levels, and if you collect all of them, then you get what's called simulation mode. And I don't actually know what that means. I haven't tried it yet, but I thought I might try to get all of the crystals while we're playing here if they seem
cool,
attainable now that I kind of know what to do a little better. But I have gotten all of them on the second level, but not the first before this.
Yeah, Brightside, this reads very like id shooter to me, like Quake stuff.
The controls feel extremely tight and responsive, and you feel very fast. And obviously, most of the game is just like pretty precise platforming, so it has to feel pretty good. You have like a nice mantle that tends to work the way that you'd expect it to. You can hold a button to like walk slowly. I don't know if that prevents you from walking off. It does not. But it always saves your position on the last like stable ground, and so no matter what I do, if I just hit T, it just puts me back at kind of like the last place that I was. So it doesn't really punish you for falling all the way down when you've been climbing something and make you redo the entire thing really frustratingly, which is kind of a nice change. So I'm gonna let's see, I just wanted to take a look at what was going on here because it looks like I need to jump down from higher. But yeah, it's easy to imagine that, some of the art style choices and things here probably were born more out of, solo dev necessity than anything else, which, we know all about that. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to move on from this and keep going.
So I don't know if the expansion stuff makes sense to you guys, but that it definitely changes like the feel of a room to a person. Really, like it's this really subtle subconscious thing that you don't really know or think about unless you're like trying to think about those things. Oh, EQ, bro, nice.
Okay, so this is from 8/6/15. I don't know if we know what year that we are, but let's see. Locked by a cryptographic key. So you have this ability to scan things from time to time. It doesn't come up constantly, but it does kind of give you that backstory and lore and stuff if you want to seek everything out. And that's another thing that you get a counter of at the end of the mission is how many things you could have scanned and how many things you did scan.
So the shack was built 534 years ago. Interesting.
500-year-old shack here inside the megastructure. You'll see these generators around quite a bit, so that's always kind of a good indicator of like civilization or a good place to try to rest. And yeah, so it looks like we probably want to go out this tunnel here.
The color color palette's a really interesting choice. It's very gray, and I'm wondering if that's going to change. Like don't worry about that. But I think like just understanding like moods are interesting. So the very start of the game being gray seems like an interesting choice to me.
So you'll see around, I'm just going to jump to my death so you can see it, but around my reticle, I'll get these lines. And if you get above, oh, wow, that kind of worked well. If you get to the third line, it starts flashing and an alarm goes off. And that means that you're at terminal velocity and you're going to die. But as long as you can keep it down to 2 lines or less, then you'll be fine. So that gives you a good indication of, how far you can fall. A little later on, I'll get like the ability to slide down walls to slow myself down and stuff. And you start paying more attention to that to know when to hit the slide to go as fast as you can as you're going down and stuff like that, which is cool.
Oh shit, the pipe broke.
Yep. Now we're getting compressed. Before we get expanded, presumably. I'm pretty sure this yellow crystal right here indicates that I already got that one. So the blue ones are the ones I haven't gotten yet.
Do those spiky red bushes hurt you at all, or are they just decorators?
No, I think they're just decorators. I feel like they stopped coming up after that section right there. I don't know if we'll see them again later, but
so we got some browns and some blues in the gray now.
Yep.
I was definitely wondering if they were gonna if the person who made it was aware of that and if that was a conscious choice. It looks like it was a conscious choice to me now.
I was gonna say when you go to the level select screen, which is kind of like what you do when you play the game, you can just kind of continue from wherever you left off in each level. The level portraits or whatever themselves, each one has a pretty distinctive color, and I want to say this one's kind of gray blue, and the next one is very like brown red, and then the third one is very green. So yeah,
that's also really good for a sense of progression for a person. So now we're expanded now. We're in this huge area. It's pretty safe.
A little tube, and now we got expanded. Yep.
Yeah, the movement isn't as tight anymore. That's good, and you need the change in space as a player because when you're in tight and you have to do a lot of precise movement and stuff, it will fatigue you. It tires you out. So this is definitely stuff that I paid attention to when building like the Whisper and 0 Hour traversal puzzles.
So you can see what we're trying to get to down there. The bird thing, it does have a hint system. So if I hit H, it'll tell me where to go. It doesn't really give me any more information than this is where you're trying to get to. And then you can just hit H to turn it off. So sometimes I'll just kind of get an idea of like, okay, I need to head that way. I don't really leave it on though. It's kind of obtrusive in the UI, but probably good that that was included because even with it, I've seen a lot of people complaining that they just don't know what to do or where to go. I haven't really run into that too much, but I could see maybe a more casual gamer finding this pretty challenging. Because they do a good job of not making it look like a Mario level or something where the platforms are brightly colored and obvious. You know, there's no yellow paint on things to kind of point you where to go. This just kind of looks like you're. It reminds me of like going out of bounds in Halo 2 or something and kind of just jumping on weird pieces of geometry to get where you needed to go, which is really cool.
So we're in a tighter space now. We're in next to this wall. A lot of the movements are precise. There's a lot of stuff around the player.
I imagine that's where it wants me to go. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so found a guy with some mushrooms growing out of him. Observers and explorers that leave their home colony to document what is outside. Observers are explorers that leave their home colony to document what is outside. They return at a rate of approximately 0.23%. The ones that do often have important findings. It's pretty crazy.
Moldy suits.
So now we got some pics. I actually was just reading on Twitter today that the top of that triangle lighting up indicates that a wall is pick climbable. I hadn't noticed that before. That's really nice. But yeah, so we can start doing this. We have a little stamina bar underneath our reticle there, so we can't climb forever. And then it's going to want us to jump out here. Alrighty, so where are we going now? Straight down. All right.
I don't know if he's a Twitch streamer. Do you know, Tony? Does this guy stream?
I don't think so. I saw him referencing that he has a day job and like a family and stuff, and this was just kind of like a side thing that he was doing that he hopes to start doing full time. So last I looked, he had over like 750 reviews on Steam. Very positive. Been getting a decent amount of attention on social media and stuff. So
oh no, he was watching him on Twitter. So he was like following the
I was just following along on
progress
Twitter. Yeah, he'd post updates a lot. So I think we can jump out here to rest. Now we're trying to get down there. You can kind of do that to go a little faster, but you got to watch that stamina. Oof. And so here, I got to kind of like get off and then grab the wall here. There we go. Another crystal there I already got.
All right, another huge space.
I like the fog falling down. I don't know how you would explain that, or I'm sure there's some reason for it, but it really adds to it.
Yeah, that in design is called like directionality. So I'm assuming that visual effect is a cue to the player to like keep going down, but I don't know if that's true.
Seems to have stopped when I got across here too. I wonder if it starts back up if I go out here. Yeah, right there. Interesting.
Yeah, so he was doing a bunch of subtle stuff to get you to go like, I need to go down.
Mm-hmm. There's this one spot in the third level where, whether by accident or not, there's just like this moment where you have to jump on this thing, and then because of the direction that you jumped on it, when you would turn to look and see if you're trying to move this lever, when you would turn to see if you move the lever, because of the direction that you jumped, causes you to like look in this direction where you see like this new door that's open and lit up, that it just like naturally you're gonna look that way, and he doesn't really tell you about it any other way. And I'm like, you must have done that on purpose, but that is so good. So there's just a lot of little stuff like that in here that I think are, very thoughtful. And if they're not, then this dude is just a natural. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, bird thing's pretty interesting. Okay, new shelter here. I guess we do see this plant a little bit more. What this says. Old route for the supply line caved in. We're going to map the vents, explore the structure below us, and see how far we can go. If you come across a distress signal, you need to stop the airflow before you can follow us down. The vent controls are near the fan in the tunnel nearby. That's going to be important for us in a minute, of course. A long distance communication device. Got that distress signal, apparently. All right.
I feel like nearby is one word.
I think you're right.
So that's sticking out to me.
It does kind of look weird. I agree. Find your way down the largest feed pipe past the small biome cluster. The vent controls are near the fan in the tunnel nearby. Right. We got here some food. Nothing else to scan. All right. Cool little away shelter, I guess. Alrighty. So the birds down there.
Hey, what's up, Shooty? So this is called Lorn's Lure. Tony's playing, and I'm going. I'm talking about like game design and stuff. So this game is very much spatial design. So I've been talking about lighting, compression, expansion, the amount of inputs that a player needs to do to solve like the spatial puzzles and stuff like that.
So I've been seeing on social media and stuff too that some people are trying really hard to just like go the wrong way, and they'll climb, up this wall or something when we're supposed to be going down here, and we came from that way. And they'll find stuff. So the dev has put little pieces of lore and stuff to find and Easter eggs just all over this place, and just the sheer amount of real estate that things could be hidden in is insane.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's good. If you make space in a video game, because there's nothing in a video game when you start, it should have meaning. It should have purpose. You shouldn't necessarily just put space in the game environment that doesn't fit with any of those goals
or have any reason for being there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, again, I guess I keep thinking back to Halo 2 specifically, which is, probably the Halo game that I played the most. But the fact that you could get out of bounds in a lot of levels, which kind of felt unintentional, but then all of a sudden people are like, wait, the devs hid skulls out here, and like Easter eggs and stuff that like you were supposed to find. And it just like kind of breaks your brain a little bit, because it kind of goes back on the whole like you're not supposed to be there concept. And just really kind of, he's putting stuff in here that's just like that. It's very cool.
What makes you think you're not supposed to be there?
I guess like just traditionally, like, and even in Halo 2, like in those areas where, they would hide those skulls out of bounds and stuff, like you can see around the backs of buildings that don't have textures on them, and into, the underbelly of, kind of the game design illusion, which just kind of makes me feel like players in general aren't really supposed to be there. But I guess to your point, if they put something there, then that kind of means that they should. But
so that's the interesting thing is like, what would this guy have done to make you think like I shouldn't go here, but then you feel rewarded when you
Mhm.
do and you're exploring. Like that's the point of the game. To Shooted's point, find a dead end with a lore entry titled "Failed Expedition." Yeah, totally.
Totally. Yeah. And I guess I say that about this one specifically because he refers to them as out of bounds secrets and out of bounds Easter eggs. So it feels like kind of a loose definition of bounds in that case, but
Who
those are his
refers to them that way? The developer?
the developer. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so presumably this is the fan we need to turn off. Pretty sure I can't go in here right now. Yep. So we got a wire from the fan going over here. And just below that, button.
All right. We're back to more grays and browns again.
Yep.
Good audio for atmosphere.
Yeah. The audio seems super good. There's never, talking. There's, the music is very ambient and atmospheric, but it really does a good job.
So Anime asks, the other day when we chatted, you said this game was top 10 for you. Does it still hold true after you've played it more since?
It's probably top 10 like more recent games that I've played in the last few years. Yeah, absolutely. It just for whatever reason kind of scratches all the right itches for me, and I think it's very fun and enjoyable, and I like the premise a lot. You guys probably know by this point enough that I love me a good sci-fi mega structure, so it's a pretty good starting point. But yeah, just it's really cool. You showed me that other
You
game
like?
once. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, you're good. You like the surfing games, right? Like surf maps and CS.
Yeah, I really do enjoy playing surf maps. I really liked Neon White, which I think kind of is like in the same vein to some extent. It's a lot more arcadey than this, but you're definitely doing just like platforming puzzles and stuff like that. I mean, I like a good platformer. To the Top in VR is a game that I really like. I did have the thought, I was like, if you wanted to make like a To the Top style game in VR that was more than like playing some arcade mode type thing like To the Top is, it probably would look something like this.
Yeah, Anime. I feel like the movement in this is probably the reason you play it.
Yeah, it really like kind of hits that same point for me that like Titanfall and like games like that, where like when you start getting really good at the platforming and the Mirror's Edge, Dishonored, all of that. So
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing about the color palette. I think the color palette's a little too flat. I'd like to see some intentional pops of color that are a little more than like the bushes or like the crystals. I want to see some more stuff. So I was reserving judgment a little bit on that because I assume that's going to change like per level.
yeah, I mean, I would argue it probably doesn't get like more intricate than this to some extent, but I'm sure even the dev would admit that it's probably more just born out of limitation from being a solo dev and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that's a bit of a missed opportunity. You want, like this is where the guy who made this could have done some nice like pops of color and some more, you know, varied textures and stuff like that in a way that didn't really lead the player but is interesting. So like that's the thing, is you have to be very careful with not showing the player where to go but also making things interesting. So yeah, I feel like this developer is using shape for that language instead of color, and I would have liked to see a little more color, but you know, I'll hold on to that opinion until we see more of the game. Audio is good. Shape language is great.
Supposed to head this way. Okay.
Oh, there we go. We got some like sparkly green type shit down there. That's much better. I'm into this.
Oh, I might have fucked that up. Let's this. Okay. Yeah, the green lights in the distance are very cool. I agree. Oh, interesting. You see the plant lights inside of the bird thing when they're at a certain angle.
Nice. Yeah, and the lights are exactly the thing I was talking about. That's what I wanted to see more of. So now we're starting to get some different shapes, some different lighting, starting to look good there. Yeah, like that's cool.
It's like some glowing up there. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, what do you guys make of this so far? Everybody in chat, like, what do you guys think? Feel free to all answer once. Doesn't matter. I'll get to you. But yeah, like, do you find this appealing? I find myself just kind of like, I'm curious right now, but I don't know how I feel about this. Yeah, exactly. Anime, you nailed it. I'm not sold, but it looks like a vibe. Like my gut is telling me that there's something missing that I want a little more of. Like the movement might not be enough for me, but we'll see. This lore stuff is really cool. So
this many screens is suboptimal.
This type of shit is exactly what you should expect in Hyperskate for how you're going to get lore and all that. You're going to have these terminals that you interact with, and
yeah, that like just the timing of this game coming out too, and some of the stuff that we talked about doing with Hyperskate, obviously it kind of made me go like, you know, this is really cool, and this is kind of, you know, inspiring towards some of the stuff that we've talked about as well. So
nice. There you go. Oh. Yeah, and I guess in fairness, when I talk about my opinion for games, I'm not saying that this is because it may or may not be for me. I'm not saying that's a mark of quality. I will say that this game looks very carefully and thoughtfully put together. So I would say that this looks like a high quality game to me. When I think about like what I'm excited about for games that are coming out and stuff, honestly, like the new Monster Hunter looks really cool to me. And I don't know anything about it, but I do that on purpose. If I'm like, oh, this is gonna be dope, like I've seen a little bit of the trailer and I just stopped watching because I know that I'm gonna play it.
oh, there it is.
So I just kind of generally feel that way about the PSX aesthetics. They don't appeal to me. And I'm not like the type of gamer that is like a graphics whore where like I need everything to look gorgeous all the time and be like cutting edge real graphics. But I'm with that. Like I feel that was one of the things that was making the game less compelling for me when we were playing Abiotic Factor. Every time we've played it, it's the visuals. Yeah, the visuals don't like really pull me in. They kind of always remind me that I'm playing a video game. And when I think about I'm playing a video game, I'm less into it. If I'm like, oh, I'm this like, robot man with some pickaxes exploring this crazy structure, I'm in. I'm totally in. So I don't know how that could have been done differently, or yeah, I think visuals are where I'm oh no. Visuals are where I'm feeling left a little wanting, I guess.
So like when people say PSX graphics, for me, the one thing about those that I don't usually like that this game doesn't do is the vertex thing that the PlayStation does, where like they're imprecise, so it like will jump back and forth while the camera's like sitting still and stuff. If this did that, like that's where I will draw the line on a lot of games too, because I do not like, especially people like trying to effectively just emulate shitty old hardware that couldn't render graphics like that.
Totally agree. Yeah.
It doesn't come across, nostalgic for me or anything. I don't like looking at it. But, this definitely looks like Quake 2 or something like that. Absolutely. And
dude, it just came.
I'm just glad it doesn't do the vertex thing, as you guys are talking about the PSX thing, because that would have probably been a deal breaker for me too.
So I understand what now this is making me feel like. There's a chunk of the game in Portal 2 single player where you're in like the Aperture Labs back rooms and there's a bunch of fake walls and shit. This feels like that to me.
100,000%.
When
I immediately thought of that, because that is another cool like mega structured thing in a video
Absolutely.
game that is done really well. Totally. Yep.
I think it's totally fine for a solo dev to make something that has this level of art polish. I think it's weird that a Valve game would have that. Like it. Okay, I'm going to say something potentially divisive. I felt the same way about Ravenholt in Half-Life 2. When you're going through that whole area, it didn't have the same. It wasn't giving me that like you're in this crazy sci-fi future world. You're just in like a shitty town with zombies everywhere. And I felt the same way in Half-Life 1 when you go through like the carnival and you meet the head crabs and the zombies for the first time. Same shit to me. And it almost makes me wonder, like, did the people making Portal 2 and Half-Life 2 think that this was a part everyone loved, let's recreate it again and like keep these themes going? Or were they like, no, I really believe in this is super important? Because I feel like they didn't mesh well. Like those middle parts in Portal 2 were not as great as like the end and the beginning, like breaking out of your cage and like having the environment change dramatically. Like there's just this big chunk of the game in the middle of Portal 2 where you're like in stuff like this. You're just in these back hallways.
I did like that they provided, I guess, a somewhat real world explanation for like where the hell is this place where they're like locking people in this crazy obstacle course and making them survive for their life. But yeah, beyond that, I definitely agree. It was an interesting change. Right, we're getting closer to, I think they called it like the habitat clusters or something over here. Looking
sick.
Cool.
Yeah, I want to go over there. I want to see like what this cool shit is. So this is the first thing that I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, we're going.
I like these giant pipes too. These are really cool.
Something that I always think is kind of a fun like mindfuck thing that they do in video games is like you have to go up to go down type thing, and you do that constantly in this game, but that's always we've talked about that exact concept for Hyperscape multiple times.
Yeah, going up to go down is counterintuitive. I've talked about this a little bit before in spatial design. When you're making something that is first person like this, it's really important to recognize that humans are predatory animals and we have stereoscopic senses. What that means is all of our sensory organs on our head are facing forward. So when you do that, evolutionarily, we're compelled as animals to want to move in the direction that we're facing. So making a player go up to go down can be confusing, or making a player turn around to continue to progress is confusing. So that's why, if you think about this, a lot of your favorite campaigns for FPSs and all that stuff, it's linear, and that's what they mean by that. You're going in a very specific direction. It's feels really good to a player to be able to always know you have to move in this one spot. Move in this, keep going in this direction. You're going to get there. Feels really good. Players get frustrated, lost, and confused when you make them turn around. So that's why, if you look at the Whisper and you think about the green room, that's why we put the secret door at the bottom, because we knew everyone was going to walk into the room and then try to figure out where they could go around it. So
Well, and they're like,
obviously
I've
there
played
was
a video game before. The game designer is telling me to look at the solution to the puzzle when I walk in the room. Like, your brain just tells you, like, yep, that's where I got to go. They told me to look at this, so that's where it is. And just real quick, I'm at the fan that they were talking about in the logs that I have to turn off to get to the distress signal. So that's why I'm going to go up here. You find that out when you play the game the first time. I'm going to skip going down there. So continue.
Yeah, so the reason why it worked in the Whisper, where the shortcut was literally behind you and underneath you, is because we gave you a path that took you all the way around. The only punishment for choosing the wrong path was losing time. You lost minutes instead of like clearing the room in like 3 seconds. So that's the right way to do it. You can force players to like do stuff backwards and whatever. Totally okay. If you give them something that lets them just hold W key and keep going in the direction they want to go. So you have to trade it off. If it's like the only way to get out of here is turn around and find the secret entrance, especially with a timer, players would have fucking hated that room. And the positive aspect was, once they solved it and they thought that was the only way to get through it, finding the shortcut, which took days or a week, something like that, finding that backward shortcut made everyone have a collective like sigh of relief and excitement and be like, oh, those guys are dicks, and that's perfect.
I remember being so mad when somebody told
me. Fucking perfect. That's exactly what you want. And it's not to have people think that you're a dick. It's just that's another moment that you give the player where they're like, awesome. And the dopamine hit of discovery is what we love about games and solving problems. I got to read what Artificial Sky was saying here. I'm just going to read it out loud, so you don't have to read it, Tony, and you can run through this. Portal 2 behind levels were good because it gave you a look behind the white walls, how the chambers are assembled, and generally how big the testing environment is. Totally agree. For like environmental storytelling and atmospherics, fantastic. Then you reach the E end of that room and you look back at the start and you see the green light below the start and slap your forehead. He meant end. The end of the room. Yeah, where you could have like just looked down and like solved. Yes, totally. So yeah, all of that stuff. There's definitely a longer path. You can take the longer path. You're not punished by taking a longer path. It just more actions, more time. And then if you're clever and explore enough and you find the shortcut, perfect. And you feel very, very smart. That's a lot of what game design is tricking people into feeling smart, because none of this shit existed, so it all came out of someone's brain. So if you, as a game designer, are saying like, oh, they don't get it, they're just fucking stupid. No, that's bad design. That means that you've done something poorly. And you should rethink your execution of that encounter or challenge, traversal section, whatever. You want people to naturally get it without being bored by getting it.
Okay, so we turned the air off, so now we can get down to the biosphere.
Sick.
So we're still in the same level from the beginning of the game. It's a very big, very long level. It's cool.
As I think about it, there's probably one way that you can make a compelling argument that the player is wrong as a designer, a game maker. And I think that you can't tell that if it's anonymous feedback from the internet. But in playtest, if you can literally talk to the person and watch how they're playing, then you can see if they got it or not. And, it's not productive when you're getting feedback to be like, oh, well, you just didn't get it. Like, you can't tell people that. You have to listen to them, validate their experience. But as a designer, you choose whether or not to act on that feedback. So it's definitely happened many times. I famously told a story about a design director who was playing 0 Hour for the first time. And he was like stuck in the fan traversal section. And he just goes, fuck this shit sucks, it's stupid, and like threw the controller, and he was very angry. I didn't take that personally because I knew the dude didn't fucking play the game. It wasn't for him. So I knew he was going to get frustrated with it and give up on it because he's not the type of player who wants to play that or check it out. You know, like he wants to go play patrols or some shit. He doesn't want to play the fucking hardcore end game activity that requires mastery of the movement and the gunplay and all that other stuff. He didn't want it was wrong. So when he says that, you know, I go like, okay, you know, this dude who's my boss's boss's boss is having a very negative reaction. And I don't go like, oh, I fucked up, I need to rework this whole thing. I think about it very deeply. I watched him play, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's good. And you just play test with other people. You play test with your target audience. It's very important to not play with your target audience too, or to play without your target audience and see how, you know, if you've made something good enough that a new player can like kind of investigate and figure it out on their own. And if they're going to get into it, because that can also be a good like bellwether for if you've made something good or frustrating, right? Like, and that's really all game design is towing the line and finding the good, happy space between frustration and boredom. You need to give players just enough. And a lot of that comes down to pacing. Yeah, it's a very delicate balance, and it's really difficult to do. I lean very much on my decades of playing video games to know whether or not I made something fun or interesting. And I'm sure that there's a bunch of shit that I've made that was inspired by something that I played in a different game, and I just don't even remember it. But I'm like, this was cool, I'll do that. And it works. Okay, so I will say black and green is a very interesting change up of color palette, but black is probably not the best as you get closer. I was hoping it would be like a blue or something like that. So I don't know.
Interesting.
It just kind of it like gets lost in the big void of the giant room that you're in. But the green pops make it stick out, and same with the volumetric fog type shit. Those visual effects they just got going on there. It's a really good transition between two different types of environments. You came down this like rusty orange and yellow pipe. You came from a lot of like brown tone and gray tone into this space. So making you feel like you came to a new place. Well executed there.
That crystal was really hard to get. You had to like climb up there and like jump on the tops of all of these. So glad I don't have to do that again.
Nice.
All right, so yeah, we're heading into the entrance of the biosphere.
Dude, I was just thinking that first crystal that you couldn't get, is it maybe because you had to go get your picks and then go all the way back and try to climb up the fucking wall?
I don't know if I could get all the way back because I think that might have been up that tube, but that is a good point. I need to go check that out. Okay, so we get to like look through the window here, but that's all we can see for now. So that's in there. That, if you remember from the beginning cutscene, that's kind of what the area that we originated from 250 years ago looks like. What does this say?
We went to triangles too, which is another good shape change. Instead of these octagonal pipes and shit.
We have not seen anything like this biome since leaving the colony. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any way inside, and this is after weeks of attempting. We will continue onwards to try to find another way in. There may be a slight possibility that we find a colony branch nearby. Our colony has never been in contact with an active one. That would be quite something.
Anna! We missed you. We haven't seen you for a few days. It's awesome having you come through. I don't know if I mentioned it last time you were here and you gave us a sub, but when Anna subbed for 5 months. So that is a huge fucking sub. Thank you for that. I don't even know if I called it out last time, but I want to celebrate that again. Absolutely. OG, you know, you and Artificial Sky, best supporters of the channel through subs and donations and shit. You guys are amazing.
Through sickness and health.
Anna, did you get to see our trailer that we put out? And we started a new. I don't know if you do the Twitters, but we started like we're running the official marketing campaign for Hyperskate now. It's off to the races. We started this Twitter account for the game itself, so if you can, please just go follow it and share it. It'll help us a ton.
Twitter in Brazil anymore.
What's that?
They can't have Twitter in Brazil anymore.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, Anna. Use your VPN. Oh hell yeah. No PC, only books and
Oh yeah,
phone. Dude, that
there you
sounds
go.
fucking amazing. Well, anyway, if you can get some friends who have access to Twitter outside of the embargo country, that'd be really awesome. Anyway, we did a trailer and we made the XR Indies and Friends showcase. So we were in a lineup in a montage with like 15 other games. It was really, really cool. So if you want to check that out, that's in the community Discord as well. Also, that's a good thing to know. So chat and you regulars who are hanging out in the Discord, we're going to completely rearrange the Discord. We have a ton of channels in there, and a lot of conversations are kind of getting like diluted and spread around. So we're going to streamline that over the next couple of days and just really tidy it up. So we're going to archive the old posts and put them into a place where you can go look at the old stuff. But expect the Discord to change around a little bit and be a little more purposeful with what we put into it. What was the joke you were gonna make? You can make jokes. Also, I hope you had a really good time in the country. That sounds fucking great. I need some country time myself, I think. Yeah, okay. I like this giant I-beam here. This is very good. A good change in shapes. What's Twitter? That's a good joke. You should have done that with like the eyes emote monkey and then like Brazilian flags or something. Because it would have gone right over my head, and then I would have been like, "Oh yeah." I only know Freedom, Anna. I don't know otherwise. Sorry. Yo, what's up, Omni? Omni, I feel like you might be into this game. I don't know why. It just kind of strikes me as like an Omni type of game. I played enough games with you to know that like you'll just kind of float off somewhere and disappear and go explore and get yourself into trouble. And that's literally what the point of this game is go explore off on your own and get yourself into trouble. I didn't call you a loner. I would have said you're a loner, but you're not. Just when we're playing like, survival crafting game and I'm like, Omni, where are you? And you're like, oh, I'm 3 miles away to the west. I'm like, why? And you're like, I found a dog or something. And I'm like, was it really a dog? And you're like, no. Did you guys have fun playing Factory Times? Oh, there you go. You stayed close last night. Nice. Personal growth, brother. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we just kind of like refamiliarized because Aaron had to go pumpkin pretty quick, but we're gonna try again. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Greg had to like get the server updated to 1.0 and all that good stuff. So we'll be good to go next time.
Oh, okay. So you're coming back to the old capitalist bullshit Twitter. Nice. Hopefully.
Oh yeah, I heard Elon caved or something.
I mean, I know Brazil's capitalist too. Wait, are you guys capitalist? I don't even know. I don't know Brazil's economy whatsoever. I just realized that. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So welcome back to the land of free words, I guess. I don't know.
Nice.
When you finally get back, you got to tweet like a bald eagle or something.
This place is another cool like go up to go down type thing. I need to get over there. I can't make the jump from here, but if I go all the way away from it on this pipe, pretty sure that gets you high enough up that you can like wall ride down to it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Artificial Sky, you better finish that statement with a vampire and then sing the rest of that song in chat.
I think my chat is really delayed.
The world is a vampire. The world is a vampire. Sent to drain. I don't want to get fucking copyright struck for singing that fucking song.
You just gotta change it to like, in spite of all my rage, I'm still just Nicolas Cage or something, you know?
Or Ready to Cave.
Yeah, just there's so many funny variations.
Or Ready to Cave. Despite all my brains, I am still just ready to cave. Despite all my brains, I'm still just ready to cave. Oh yeah. I definitely, you know, social media is really bad for mental health. Definitely use it in moderation. Get that shit off your phone. But we appreciate you hanging out with us out here. What do you make of this game, Anna? Is this the kind of game that you'd be into too? Or is it like a little too stressful and chaotic? I know you like more cozy. You're more of a cozy gamer.
Oh my god.
But yeah, Omni, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it too. I want to see what you make of it. Explore. So Tony is trying to chase these weird like crystal bird things. His name is Lorn, I think. I assume his name is Lorn.
I'm not sure actually,
but the lure is the thing that you find in the darkness that's like guiding you. So you're ostensibly like some kind of a maintenance android robot guy thing or something, and you're on this giant space megastructure. You don't know where you are, where you came from, or what your purpose is. And you were, Tony, you said you were hanging out by a door for like a long time, and then the door suddenly opened one day.
And it's weird because like maintenance robot android thing makes more sense in this context, I feel like, but it definitely presents it in that opening cutscene like you're like a person,
you're like a colonist, right?
Like living in like a biosphere colony or something, which just makes me go like, why do you have androids living in like an artificial biosphere type thing instead of like humans? I don't know. Very interesting. I'm sure we're going to find the answer eventually, but we don't know yet. So
ooh, that's a really good point, Anna. I bet it's the like big masses of solid color kind of moving in different directions, and then like small points that you would focus on that make you feel a little queasy. That shit's basically how you make people motion sick. Yep, changing directions. Lots of movement in the background while you have to focus on an unmoving point that just really jacks up the whole balance system.
This game makes me want to learn how to mod Unity games so that I can put VR in it, because I think it would be fun in VR.
Another Unity game. Blech.
Yep.
Unity changed their pricing model, right?
Yeah. So they're less terrible now. And they also fired the entire board that came up with those decisions, apparently.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good play.
Yeah.
Did they get rid of that one fucking jabroni that was?
Yeah. Like that main really terrible guy. He was part of that.
So this is a moment where I was trying to highlight, a confined space, lots of very tight movements. This is where it's good design. This guy doesn't have you doing this all the time. He's giving it to you in very pointed moments. And then you expand again and you get out to like a really more broad area where like you don't have to be on these little skinny rails. And
I think that section is like one of the ones that does a good job of like making you feel like you're like, I'm not quite positive that I'm going the right way or that this is kind of intentional. And then you kind of get to the end and you're like, okay, it probably was intentional because it seems like I'm heading the right direction, but it's just designed in such a way that it's not super obvious and handholdy, which is cool. All right, so we came around the back of the sphere, and now there's this hole to the inside.
oh, what was the street cred I destroyed? Or did Tony destroy it? Who destroyed street cred?
Are you gonna kill me on that?
Sometimes I forget the noises I'm making. So like words are coming out of my mouth, but I don't remember what I said, especially on stream. Oh, Unity. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, some really fucking head-ass leadership decisions like, oh, you did it. Okay.
I did it. So compared to my last run, 34 less deaths, about 30 minutes faster, 2 more scans. Got no crystals that time, but yeah. So we'll move on to level 2 now. So every level starts with a short cutscene, a little more story exposition. Pretty good physics sim on that skeletal mesh.
Okay, so this is where I think you're like a robot guy.
Oh, you're definitely a robot guy. Yeah, he'll talk about how he like repaired me or something.
You finally booted up. There you go.
Found you partially destroyed at the top of this biome and took the liberty of repairing you. I've also fixed your climbing picks. They're waiting for you below in the other maintenance hut. Grab them and then meet me at the medical station. Okay. Scan him? No.
So Omni, really, this isn't appealing to you? I don't know why I thought this would be something you'd be into. It feels right.
Okay, repair log. An android from an unregistered settlement was discovered on the upper perimeter of the camp. Biological component damage seems to have been handled by its life support system by inducing a coma. I have repaired the mechanical components using available parts. Functionality of damaged components is assumed intact. Waiting for life support system to boot android's consciousness. So definitely an android. Got 4 keyboards on this thing. Nice.
You have to type on all of them at the same time.
Like Criminal Minds.
Or
maybe NCIS.
NCIS, yeah.
Yeah. I like the floating titles at the beginning of each level. It's cool. You can see, as Vince was talking about in the last level, we're not really gray anymore. We're more of like this red hue now. The cement is colored and start to see this like metal stuff a lot, I think. So this level, I'm actually kind of interested to play too, because I know that he got so much feedback about it being too hard to figure out what to do that he like added some new pathways to the goals and some other adjustments and stuff. So it probably is going to be easier this time than it was for me the last time I played it.
Yeah, exactly. 90s style hacking scene.
Okay, got our picks from the repair hut. Nothing else cool in here. Now we got to get back up to there.
Seems like you've got a pretty juicy delay on the stream there, Artificial. So you had to go down to get your picks, and now you're going back up? Oh, you were just busy? Okay, no worries, bro. So you had to go down to get your picks, and now you're going back up?
So that's where we started right there. And now we're trying to get up to the medical. That's where he said to meet him. So follow the signs. Yeah, this level, having played it before, is the ultimate go down to go up type thing, because we're going to go up here and then we're going to go all the way down there to get something, and then we need to bring that thing that we got back up here where we're starting, and then after we get there he's going to open a bridge that's back down there. So that's the level. So we're just going to climb up and down this entire thing twice, basically. But something that is pretty cool is that we get to see one of the other survivors here. He has a weird, like, I don't know, porcelain face looking thing. But he's got some problems too.
He's got some gloop on him, dude.
He's glooped up.
He's got
the last member of the observer team stationed at this base camp. They've been severely infected by the poisonous air. I am not programmed to leave the camp, but if I were to possess a mold flower, I could create medicine for them. Let me find a mold flower on the biome floor. I can extend a bridge into the waste tunnels below. I saw something strange go in that direction that might be of interest to you. Which presumably the bird, I guess. You need to learn how to tic-tac in order to get down there. I printed the tic-tac firmware onto a storage disk for you. You can pick it up in the nearest entrance on your way out. So now we can kind of like slide on walls and jump off of walls in order to get higher up, and you get a little more like, not quite Titanfall wall running, but a little closer. Okay, so this person was getting increased stress in recent months, increased divergent desire to abandon mission in favor of personal pursuit to find a new home settlement, recent withdrawal from team meetings and from using their personal journal, increased usage of avoidant speech, inappropriately conspiratorial comments on other team member statements, warning, elevated risk of paranoia. So maybe that's a side effect of the goop that they're infected with. Facial and bodily spore infection. Cause violent attack punctured visor glass, allowing atmospheric spore to be inhaled. There's a possibility that the mold flower research could yield an intravenous antifungal fluid. So that's what we're going to go get. This is our tic-tac ability.
Shooted. To answer or address that statement, yes and no. If you are aiming to attract new players while keeping the old players, what you're talking about is typically going to be a game as a service that's got the broadest appeal possible. I was talking more about like your target audience, someone who's going to play your game already, who's already into the game. You have to balance between frustration and boredom, because that's where like all the fun lies. It's in a very narrow, spot between boredom and frustration, and it changes for every person. Not every person is going to feel the same way. So if you just think about a specific audience. Yeah, I can see that, because Elden Ring is definitely more like game as a service, but I wouldn't necessarily call Elden Ring a game as a service. You know, they're not
No,
cranking
but
out
that
updates all
definitely,
the
like,
time.
to your
And
point, I think, is on the one side of that, like, frustration plus boredom thing,
yes,
where some other games definitely kind of take that concept a very different direction.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then a game like Destiny is more fun for everybody, right? Like they're trying to make it interesting to everyone, and the current iteration of Destiny has appeared to me to be only interesting to newer players. It's not really.
Or, like, ultra hardcores, maybe?
I was gonna say not even ultra hardcores. Like it feels to me like the franchise has abandoned the core audience.
I guess all the ultra hardcores are saying that, there's nothing left to do now. So,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah. So it's like it's become a very broad appeal game that is only trying to attract brand new players. So it's flat and kind of boring. Like and what I mean by flat is it's missing the mastery depth. Destiny 2 currently is kind of like Mario Kart, and what I mean by that is Mario Kart has racing, but I wouldn't say Mario Kart is necessarily like really a racing game. It doesn't follow any of the principles of actual racing. You got turtle shells and shit like that. It's more like a conga line and who's at the front of the conga line, and you're trying to become first. So it's more like musical chairs to me, I think, than actual racing.
Yeah, you don't really hear about competitive Mario Kart.
Yeah, it does exist, but yeah, people who get that into racing are going to play a more like sim racer type of a game.
Absolutely.
So going back to Destiny, up against other shooters, Destiny is more that Mario Kart where like everyone's a winner, and it's not, yeah, and they do everything to make it feel like you're really good at the game, even if you're not. I tend to like games that I'm not good at, unless it's competitive. And then I'll be like, this game's great because I like just stomping motherfuckers all day. Yeah, I like skill and mastery and getting better as a player, doing cool stuff. Ooh.
So now I can slide down walls to avoid fall damage and fall farther without taking damage.
I don't know if Omni answered. I feel like he didn't. But I was still trying to see. I want to hear more from Omni about this game. Like, tell me what you find appealing about it, or what you don't find appealing. I know you were saying you didn't really get the point, but I want to hear more. I want to scoop the ideas out of your brain, chew on them for a little bit.
No, I guess like something that this game does that is compelling to me is some of the premise and the story and the atmosphere and stuff, because you could effectively call this game like Super Meat Boy to some extent, because it's just a series of platforming challenges, but Super Meat Boy doesn't have a compelling narrative going on about exploring this mega structure and trying to figure out like why your character has been here for 250 years, and who built all of this, why are there survival huts that have existed for over 500 years inside this space, and what is the point of all of this? Like, I really legitimately want to find the answers to all of those things by playing this. So
Super Meat Boy is about love, dude. That's literally what it's about.
there's
Love
like a princess or something you're trying to save, right?
Yeah, it's the love between a skinless boy and his girlfriend made of bandages, and the antagonist is a fetus in a robot body that is trying to kill both of you.
All right, not TIL.
It's very weird, but yeah, I mean that's what you get from a Ed McMillan game.
Yeah. All right, so we made it down to some kind of more natural looking stuff probably for the first time here. Some rock formations, and we have these goopy things that I can step on and squish.
A tale as old as time. Skinless boy meets girl made of bandages, the only thing that can soothe his wounds.
Okay, so this says that the interbiome bridge has been shut permanently because this area is quarantined due to mold contamination. And yeah, we're trying to open a bridge to the other side here. So if we hit this button, nothing happens. We've been cut off.
Yeah, see, there is a delay, Shooty. I just saw Fetus Gundam. I haven't been talking about Super Meat Boy for like 15 seconds, 30 seconds. Well, shit. I am seeing a bit of a delay on stream itself from my machine, but it's like 5 seconds. It's not that long.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Scan that from here. No.
Still no YouTube chatters.
Yep.
I'm looking for you, YouTube. I don't see you guys out there. Okay. Going up this thing.
Another hut here. Let's see what we got.
So, like, the lighting hue did change, but everything's still kind of like gray and brown.
Totally. Yep. Which, like, I guess, like, you kind of get into the, I don't know, like Fallout conversation about, like, you just go for, like, everything is rusty and old as
Yeah,
a
totally.
way of storytelling, I guess, but it doesn't have to be that way for sure.
Yeah, entropy as an aesthetic is weird to me. I don't care for it. I mean, I've said it plenty of times. I really dislike the Fallout games.
Yeah.
I've tried to like them. Just can't do it. Can't do it, chat. Shit ain't for me.
All right, so it says only 2 of these mold flowers that I'm looking for have been found and harvested here to be sent back to the home settlement. More may exist on the underside of the biome floor, but may be too dangerous to access. Oh. Also interesting they're calling this entire thing a biome when, I guess we went inside of that sphere thing and then we kind of ended up in here, but I expected it to look more like the green nice inside, and I can't tell if we're supposed to be inside of one of those things right now or if this is outside of it in the mega structure or what, but it's a little ambiguous about some of that stuff.
That's fair, Shooty. I know that many people are like, you have to play New Vegas. New Vegas is good, and I have not. I'll admit it. I think I've played 3, 4, and one of the very early Tactics games. But same issues with 3 and 4 that I have with like Skyrim and Oblivion and shit. Like,
well, and I just think like New Vegas is still Fallout, like it's probably one of the better ones, and that's probably, I think, more due to like the story and the writing and the fact that Matthew Perry is in it and like a lot of stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you don't like Fallout, I don't think it's gonna like change your mind about it because it's still Fallout.
I did like I enjoyed the like entropy aesthetic and like the Tactics games. I thought that was really cool. But I just don't care for it in like an RPG. I'll say it again. It feels really fucking lame to be like, oh shit, I got a new piece of shoulder armor, and it's like half of a fucking football and like an old belt and like a hubcap, and you just put it on you and you're like, look at my new trash. It keeps me safe. And I'm just like, that's fucking lame.
All right, I'm trying not to use the hints here. I know the mold flower is somewhere down at the bottom here, and supposedly is easier to get to now. So I'm just going to see if I can find it.
Oh, I also don't find the mid-century modern aesthetic to be endearing. I don't know why. 50s type shit just
the
doesn't do it for
nuclear
me.
age stuff.
Yep.
You mean? Yeah.
Atomic age bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm just not into
Atomic
it.
age. Yeah.
I like the show.
Show was good.
Show was interesting. It entertained me.
If you find this unlikely far beyond this place, maybe even in a new home, if you're from the settlement and you have any good sense left, you'll follow my path down the waste tunnels until it converges with another. After that, you can climb up another tunnel until you reach an intact biome nearby. This is Dafa. Edoxa was planning on killing me. I had to make the first move. If this is somehow Edoxa, you can go back and fucking rot with all the people in that infested settlement. You had your chance.
Nice.
All right,
Yeah, fucking
somebody's got
Doxa.
some passions.
All my homies hated
All
Doxa.
my homies hated Doxa. Yep. All right. I'm gonna assume it's probably all the way down there. So let's head that way.
And are you a Fallout fan? You were saying New Vegas is definitely better? And are you a Fallout fan? You're saying New Vegas is definitely better? Ooh, I just thought of something. Okay. My favorite times like playing Skyrim were watching Sparkle play Skyrim. Like I'm not even fucking playing. I'm just watching someone else play, and that was enjoyable to me.
Oh, I'm not gonna make this. Fuck. Grab it. Grab it. Oh. This is another cool thing in this level that happens is when you fall, until you hit something or like get pretty low down, it doesn't kill you, but you can be all the way at the top and fall all the way down to where I just did and kind of get a good look at everything. It's really cool. Okay, so I could have gotten up on top of here. The rest, it looks like. So let's do that. It is always telling with the checkpoint system where it takes you all the way back there to kind of maybe give you an indication that you weren't going the right way.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it didn't save me on that pipe right there, at least, but maybe it will when I go up here.
So I wanted to ask about what you like about Fallout, but relative to the show. So is it because you think the games are more fun and like the show made you want to go play the games, or were you just like the show was bad? Because I think for like a Fallout fan, there's plenty to critique about the show. As like an entertainment fan, what I liked about the show was the fucking noseless, rotten skin guy, the vault chick,
Noseless baby Billy.
yeah, noseless baby Billy,
Yeah.
the vault chick, and actually, I think that was kind of it. I thought the Iron Brotherhood guy or whatever, Steel guy, the fucking power armor man. Yeah, that guy was like, that character was so poorly written, in my opinion.
Yeah, agree.
Like, I get he was supposed to come off as like uneducated, a zealot, but he came off as like an 8-year-old, and it was just fucking weird. Oh, okay. So like you just don't engage with television as like an entertainment medium. There's Omni. God damn it, Omni. I've been asking you for your impressions of this game. I want to hear you talk about it.
Ponder the Orb Omni.
How dare they do that to Mr. House?
Okay, so we got the mold flower. Now we need to go all the way back up, like I said. So the thing that we need is on that pillar right there too.
So Omni, since you're back, I'm assuming what I was asking was I want to know what you do and don't like about this game, because I thought that this was definitely a game that you would be into. So like, why is it odd? Does it just seem like weird and you don't want to do it, or like, yeah. Yeah, give me some more details. Like, talk about your feelings. This is a therapy session, but we're gonna talk about Lorn's lore. Claustrophobic, interesting. Did you watch Tony get out into any of like the bigger spaces? So he does these like really tight traversal puzzles, like he's doing right now. But there's definitely like sections that are more chill and more big and open. Or do you think it's because you can't ever see anything that's not a wall, right? Like there's no horizon in this game. It's kind of infinitely up and down, but you see the walls in like pretty much every level. At least in like the main gameplay spaces, like Tony's in right now. Something that appeals to me on No Man's Sky and things like Minecraft is wide open space with lateral movement, but flight is good, but relying on tools to climb gives me anxiety. Okay. That is good to know. So like the fear of falling makes you go like, I don't want to fucking play that because I'm just gonna fall all the time. Very interesting. Okay. I finally got those delicious ideas out of his brain so I can chew on them for a little while.
I do sometimes as I'm playing this, like, if you think about it from like a real hardcore, like realism perspective, it's like doing all of the stuff that you do in this game, you can never fuck up once, or you would be dead, and that would be over. And I get to retry the level 100 times, but IRL, you would have to do this perfectly.
Oh shit. Okay, so beginning of Satisfactory without the jetpack and movement modes makes you feel anxious. Huh. Are there any like physical threats in Satisfactory?
Not like really scary ones, just like annoying enemies that can, kill you.
So what about it? Like, I know I'm like digging here, and feel free to be like, I don't want to fucking talk about this anymore. But what about like what gives you that anxiety? Like, is it that you know how much movement you can have, and you just want to get there as quickly as possible? Is it more that you feel kind of like impotent or hopeless or helpless, and that if anything threatening should arise, regardless of your knowledge of the game, like is it more of like an animal fear, or is it like a psychological fear? I'm also assuming that your anxiety is couched in fear, because I feel like those emotions are pretty closely related. But if that's not it, like feel free to tell me otherwise. Trying to build these factory things and having to jump over shit. Oh, okay. So you're trying to get where you want to go, and you're like, fuck, I can't even get over there, and like I'm fucking up my building. I see. So
would it take away from the sense of progression for you if they just handed you that stuff, though?
I feel like for Omni it wouldn't. And I think that was my next question, was like, so the thing that you derive pleasure from in playing games like Satisfactory is crafting and like building stuff. I mean, you're an engineer, so it makes sense to me. So you like putting all the parts together and watching the machine go, right? Like that's the thing you like about Satisfactory. Very interesting. Yeah, see, I would have assumed that you would have been into Lorn's lore, because there's not like super crazy. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Don't worry. Go do your thing. So this is, I guess, more for chat. I assumed that it was like, threatening or dangerous enemies with like weapons and guns and shit that he wouldn't have liked. And so that's why I was like, Lorn's lore might be a good game for him, because there is no combat. It's just movement and like exploring and puzzling out where you need to go and how to get there. I actually feel like after watching you play this for the last hour and a half, Tony, that this game, as an abstract where it sits in my brain, is much closer to Portal than it is to Titanfall.
Yeah, I agree with that. The only reason I said Titanfall is because
I mean, the dev said Titanfall, so like,
yeah. Well, and I just like one of the things I like about Titanfall, like I'm admittedly not a big like multiplayer gamer or anything.
Yeah,
but,
totally.
I love to just open Titanfall up and just like try to see how fast I can go and how many wall runs I can chain together and like how smoothly I can move through the level with like intentional flow. And we talk about that a lot with Hyperskate and stuff like that. And this game definitely just kind of like lights up that part of my brain from time to time in the same way that Titanfall does. So yeah. But in terms of like the way your brain has to work and you got to sit here and kind of like stare at stuff and figure out where to go and what to do, Portal is a very good comparison because it definitely kind of has a similar feel. Absolutely.
Yeah, like, but just at a high level, not like moment to moment, just more like you
Just
pause, you look around yourself and
exactly.
think back on all the things you did. Yeah.
Yep. And he does a good job of just, slowly introducing like a new thing that you have to do and look out for every once in a while. And Portal, of course, is really good about that.
You didn't get Tic Tac until level 2, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And it wasn't until I climbed down and then back up to see that guy.
Interesting.
And that was probably also kind of intentional because I could get to this part that I needed to get to with the Tic Tac, and it was just kind of like a different direction that I could have gone, but I wasn't going to be able to get there until I got it. So it would have forced me to go the other direction until then.
That makes sense.
Yeah. We're still just trying to climb now. There was a debate going on Twitter today. Well, not debate, but he asked people if they thought that the Tic Tac, felt inconsistent and where they thought it felt inconsistent. And I saw a lot of people giving him feedback because you do have to hit it just kind of exactly right for it to work the way that it's supposed to.
It looks like it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. There's a couple places where it got a little frustrating for me, but I think just now that I've like figured out how to do it a little better, it doesn't bug me so much.
What I always think of for, and I will say this, and I know that people will disagree with me, but what I always think of for is like somewhat poor design for like player ability or whatever is the wall kick in Super Metroid. That shit sucks. I fucking hated trying to do that. The
Super
timing
Metroid
on it
has
is
all those
like frame perfect.
unofficial movement things that you can do like that just they don't even feel real when people tell you about them. You're like, wait,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be able to do that? That's not even possible. Yeah.
The window for like when you can actually kick off the wall is so tiny.
And the speedrunner guys will like climb a whole fucking tunnel and just like frame perfect every single jump. It's crazy.
Yep. So the point was, this does not seem to be nearly as bad as that.
I would absolutely agree with that. Yeah. And as I've gotten better at it, it doesn't feel as bad as it used to.
Did it make sense why it was called Tic Tac?
Tic Tac is a parkour term for doing that. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so that's clearly not right. No, that seems right. Let's see. Need to grab this, but he really doesn't want to. quick tack off of this, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
So now you're climbing the structure at the center of the room.
Yep. Or it might be on one to the side. That
Yeah, you're on
they
the
catch
side
you
one.
up because you get up to the top and you're like, wait, I need to be over on that side, and
Yeah.
you can't really get over there. But yeah, because I think, where am I going right now? I'm going over there. So that's going to be my way across.
So I was just thinking a little bit more about the fine line between boring and frustrating. And I would say, and this is a little weird because I know this is a very beloved game and it's very popular. What's the fucking Space Dwarf game called?
Deep
Deep
Rock
Rock.
Galactic.
Deep Rock is firmly in the boring territory for me. It's not nearly deep enough. I need like kits and loadouts and all kinds of cool weapons and like doing cool shit and like different enemies, and it's just always bugs and it's always time. And shooting is very easy in that game. So it just doesn't do anything for me. Like I would probably have more fun playing an aim trainer than I would ever have playing Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah, it's interesting because like on the face, it has a lot of the same like roguelike things that make a lot of games good, but they don't add any of the, I don't know, like parts that make roguelikes addicting. And,
Yeah.
static enemies, static weapons doesn't really ever change that much. All the missions are kind of just the same thing over and over.
That's the biggest thing that, or I guess the biggest draw for me in playing Risk of Rain 1, 2, or Returns is that at a very basic level, each guy that you pick has a unique play style, and it feels really satisfying to play because they have a nice, varied skill kit and good execution and stuff like that, like combos.
Within them, if you change a couple of options, your build is going to be totally different than if you use
Exactly.
the other ones. Yeah.
But I mean, just that, like before you even add in the roguelite systems, the way every character plays so differently is so cool. I love that.
Yep.
Because like I'll play, Acrid for days and then just be like, I don't want to play Acrid anymore, and then play someone else, and it's like I've got a brand new game.
Okay, I'm not going to make the mistake I made the first time here, but they got me with the W key and IRL here because when I got to this part last time, I went up there. I spent probably 30 minutes trying to figure out how to get to where you have to get, which is kind of under there. But ultimately, what you're supposed to do is actually go down here. But he does such a good job of you just like being excited that you're trying to get over here, and this platform seems really obvious, and you just came across that it took me a long time to kind of figure out that I needed to fall down here first, and then yeah, you end up on that pipe right there, and you want to get over here, and there's just no way to do it.
Okay, so this structure is kind of samey for the green dot type of structure, and it's not. It's just like a blob of different shapes kind of stuck together. Like I want like a giant column, with like some weird steps on the sides. I want a big cube, right? I want like a pyramid, and there might be those later on in the game.
I would say the next level is a lot different than the first two, so I'll be interested to hear kind of what you think about that too. But one of the things that's very painful, and I'm pretty sure there's no way to get back up here, but this is the hut with the sick guy in it that we got to bring the mold flower to. And as I explained to you before, we need to get all the way back down there again to go where we need to go. and if I could come back up here on these platforms, I could go back the way I came, and it would be very quick. But I ultimately was never able to find a way to jump back up here, so I kind of have to again climb back down the way that I did originally to get to where I need to go, and I didn't realize where I was the first time, and I thought I would look around before I jump down this time to see if there's anything I was missing, but I really don't think there is. So it's probably intentional.
Oh shit! Sorry, Anna. Well, I appreciate you hanging out at least. Is it better inside the room here, in the hut?
Just look at Vince's beautiful face and don't pay attention to it. Okay, so the robot opened up a bridge into the sewer tunnels for me. And if you remember that thing that we read that told that one guy to fuck off, said to go through the sewer tunnels. So we're gonna
Okay,
listen to
all
him.
right.
But as I mentioned, we're just gonna go ahead and do the exact same path we did before to get all the way back down there.
We are sewering.
Sewering out of our minds.
So you got the mold flower? I wasn't paying attention to that.
Yes, I got the mold flower at the bottom. It was around when you were talking to Greg. But
okay.
I climbed all the way back up, gave it to the robot. They said, cool, thank you. And we had made a deal originally that if I brought the mold flower, the robot would extend a bridge into the source. So.
Got it. Okay, so now you have to climb all the way back down and get over to the bridge.
Exactly, yes. And it's basically just all the way down on kind of that like more organic looking surface is where I'm going.
Interesting. Okay. Verticality is really good.
Yeah, and just sense of scale.
Pretty cool. Totally. Stream explode? Nope, it's good. It was buffering. I'm sorry, Anna. We've asked you a few times, would you prefer if we play less FPS type of stuff? Or like what kind of games do you want to watch us play? Because that's really what today is about. And you've definitely got a very strong voice for what you want to see us play on Thursdays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, even if you know that, there's a game that I'm not going to like or something like that, and you want to just see us play it and like react to it and talk about it.
And I actually meant to ask you if you had seen Tiny Glade, because that seems like a game based on what I know about you that you would probably very much like.
I think she's talked about Tiny Glade a bunch with Sparkle.
It just released officially on Steam like 3 days ago. So
oh shit.
Yeah, it looks it's very nice looking. I don't really understand the point of it, but it looks really good. They did a great job with the visuals.
I appreciate that, Anna. I like that you're just here to listen to us and hang out. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I appreciate that, Anna. I like that you're just here to listen to us and hang out. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So, have you played? No, you haven't played Tiny Glade because you were in the woods.
She was in the Tiny Glade.
Yeah. Are you gonna play it? I want to know. And I bet Sparkle would like it too. Sparkle, you've been tracking Tiny Glade?
Have you ever seen that game Townscaper? Kind of looks similar to that. Yeah, I've been seeing the dev post about Tiny Glade. It feels like for 2 or 3 years at this point. They've always been somebody who has popped up on my Twitter feed showing off their cool game dev stuff that they've been doing. So I've been refining it for a very long time. Okay, we made it to the bottom. We're about there. We just got to go back across the tramway here, and then we're going in that big pipe.
Nice, that's awesome. And when I said woods, I imagine that it's just like tropical rainforest literally everywhere. And I'm sure that it's not because it's a very large country, but you know, imagine you're hanging out like monkeys and bromeliads and shit.
So presumably these lights in the distance here have something to do with that message about being quarantined, and that's the connection to other biomes, I think is what it said. I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't know if that's going to come back up, but it seems like we're going a different way, kind of the opposite way, in fact.
Oh, Dwarf Romantic. Sparkle loves Dwarf Romantic.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's spelled really weird. DORFROMANTIK. It's like a it kind of looks like Settlers, but it's not Settlers. You have like hexagonal tiles. Yeah.
But is it just kind of like a real chill, like just build stuff? And like Townscaper, when I played it, like you just kind of like built a town, but there wasn't really a point to it beyond that too much.
Yeah, it's like in this level you need to build, 4 farms, a city center, a river, and you've got these tiles almost like Betrayal.
Okay.
So you have to like be careful with how you place your tiles, where you place them, all that shit. It's
Okay.
a
So
strategy.
that sounds like that has a
so,
lot more
yeah.
of a point than Townscaper. But
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Islanders. I don't know if she knows about Islanders. Oh, see, I like this giant tube here. This is cool.
Yeah, going into
Yeah,
the
we're
sewer
getting
pipe.
into more columns and cylinder shapes now.
Big slide, doesn't it? Let's do that. Okay, here we go. Oh, I did a lot better on that one.
Hell yeah. Do you want to? Yeah, I guess let's show this for another.
Yeah, I'll just show you kind of the premise of level 3 here because it's kind of neat, and then
10
we'll just shut
minutes.
it down in 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's like fucking Dune in here.
I'm gonna look up Islanders, Anna. Islanders. Okay. Oh, this looks cool and cozy. I feel like I've seen something like this. Or something about it. The art style reminds me a lot of Goddess, Godus, which was another Peter Molyneux scam. Yeah, totally. Just watching this like little demo of gameplay looks exactly like a lot of the Goddess stuff, but this appears to be more interesting. Oh, did you just get these flares, Tony?
Yep. So when I went into the sewer, it started getting dark. There was flares waiting for me, and most of the level is kind of like this.
So this is a very interesting choice because this is a completely different feel. This is kind of spooky now.
Yeah, and it's obviously a lot harder to figure out where you need to go now because you can't see anything. And I believe I don't know if he pushed the update about this. I saw that he was like making the flares maybe work a little differently and like light stuff up a little better. I don't think the update has come out yet, but he said something about like making changes to everybody's favorite level. So
okay, so I will say this: too much darkness. I'm just gonna say it right now. Way too much darkness. He needs to have some kind of fill lights, even if they're like way off to the side or something.
You'll get stuff like this. So like
Something.
that's supposed to tell you where to go with this light here. I did not find that very obvious the first time that I saw it, but that was the point. And then you get into some very interesting claustrophobic tunnel stuff here that, again, like I almost just don't feel like I'm like moving with intention through some of these spaces. Like I just feel like I'm kind of just like pushing forward arbitrarily at a point, and then you'll see like I'll hit points where I don't know, they just start being ledges and different directions to go. And I felt like coming through here the first time, like I just kind of picked one and ultimately ended up where I needed to go. But it's interesting.
I do like these tunnels. I think this is cool. I think making the player spam flare is probably a poor choice. I think flare would be a lot cooler if they were like more purposeful. Is there basically no cooldown on it? You can just keep chucking flares.
Yeah, I can keep chucking them. What I can do, just get back on solid.
I do really like these tunnels though. These are neat because it's really easy to not know what is.
If I hold it till it flashes, it will stick to a surface. And it also like shoots farther the longer that I hold it down. So you can do that, but I mean, a lot of the time I just kind of end up doing this the whole time, to your point. So
yeah. Yeah, it's very dark anime. I think too dark. Just not
straight pitch black. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
with no flares.
I think that is a poor
being
choice.
In a cave, that's how it would be, but
very spooky and atmospheric for sure. But it needs a little bit of help to not make it oppressive, and this feels oppressive. So let's talk about the spatial design. With all this darkness, you're now in a space that is very confined because if you can't see the walls at all, it's really easy to get lost. So I feel like he forced himself into a corner where he had to make it so you have to spam flares everywhere because you're in this really confined space. Because I bet he had like a much wider open space when he started with it.
I would love to see the dev behind the scenes of what this level looks like with the lights on. Actually, like especially in the outside and like the big open areas. I bet you it's interesting.
Anime 20 was saying it's pitch black,
but yeah. Wait, there's definitely a person there. That was crazy. I don't know if you guys saw that before I died. There's a person standing there. They're not there anymore.
Oh shit, I didn't see that.
I did not notice that the first time through. I'm pretty sure that person, we're gonna find them here soon, but oh, hello. Nice.
I do really like these little cracks that you're going through. This is cool, and they're all at weird angles. I'm into that. Nice new crystal
and like this stuff too, where like you come around like and like you can't tell that's there really until you like just kind of like come over here. Like it's very interesting, but again, this is where I just kind of felt like I was like going crazy almost. I'm just like picking a random direction and just like seeing where it goes, and keep ending up in these weird spaces and falling down these random holes, and it feels like I should kind of be like back where I already was, but I'm not. And let's say the hole. Okay.
I feel like this guy might be a Destiny fan. Oh, did you see that shit? Dude, there's some letters on the wall. Don't go down the tube. Turn
Oh
around,
yeah.
turn around.
One way. Yeah.
Left, left, left. Oh, you went down it. It
Oh,
said like the
that
mole.
said the hole. Yeah.
The hole. Okay.
The hole. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure the guy who wrote that would be right around here somewhere, because here's a camp. What does it say? Another set of landmarks, another hole above the chasm too far, below the crystal cave, don't listen to it, through the crystal tunnel, take the river to the pipe. Oh. Some Omni poems, you know?
Yeah, where's our poem today, Omni? You set a standard, and then you never poemed us today. Did you poem yesterday? Oh yeah, you did one yesterday, and I didn't know how to read the cadence because there were no commas.
Oh right, yep. Now I'm turned around. Let's see.
What is Penumbra anime?
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, if there were like monsters in this game would probably be way too scary for areas like this. But let's see.
Oh, okay, cool. Amnesia. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I want things to kill in here. I want to do some action gameplay. The ropes were a good signpost.
Yep.
Yeah, so
I didn't
right
miss
side,
the guy, but we'll see.
right side, he like left the big wide open spaces and like went into the sewage tunnels. So now he's like down in the sewers and he's like crawling around in these cracks and stuff. I think it's cool. I like this.
Cool.
It's a little too samey visually. But I mean, you're making your way through it, Tony. I would be completely lost. I'd have no fucking clue where I was. I mean, I have no idea where you are. I don't recognize any of this shit.
Yeah, and like I said, it almost feels like I'm just kind of like bopping along with some small amount of intention, but just kind of like seeing where it goes at this point. So here's like a big room.
I feel you on that anime. Yeah, I feel like maybe this isn't for me. But what's the 4X game that you're playing, bro? Because if you are, not playing a 4X game, how's your grind set, brother?
Okay, so there's that. Let's keep going down, I guess. Where do you want me to go here? Let's see. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this like wall kicking thing. Okay, so this is where you got to stick them so that you can actually see. Pretty sure that's what I need to be doing.
What the fuck?
I can't remember if that's the right way. It might actually be back a different direction. Okay, so we found some crystals. There was mention of like a crystal cave. I assume this is it. Try to push real quick. Still finding more rope.
There you go. I think the ropes are a good tell. I wish they weren't brown.
Yeah.
I feel like you should have gone with like a climbing rope texture. You know, they've got like those
Sure.
like little colors in them and shit. I think that would have been a better choice. Oh, what is this weird? Was that like, were those just brighter surfaces?
They're crystals that like have
Crystals.
like
Okay,
some
crystals are
glow.
cool.
Yeah. So that writing on the wall back there that was talking about landmarks said something about go through the crystal cave.
Okay.
It also said like don't listen to the voice. Um,
Is there a voice?
I remember hearing some like ambient like voice type stuff at one point when I was playing through it the first time, but I feel like it didn't happen enough that I don't know. And maybe it references like the survivor guy that I found the first time through here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna find him, but I'm pretty sure that's who I saw when I said I saw somebody too.
Is it like, ooh, I'm a spooky ghost in the cave?
Well, it ends up being like this guy who you like are talking to him, and he's talking to you, and then you like go around the corner so that you can like see the other side of his face, and he's dead. And it says that he's been dead for like 200 years, and you're like, how was I talking to him? I don't think I found him. It must have just been like a random way that I had gone last time, but I thought that was really cool.
Fucking Miller Sasake.
Yeah, totally.
I wish we had our viewer Star Helix back just to catch the Expanse reference.
You know, they made an Expanse Telltale game.
What game?
They made an Expanse Telltale game that I believe Drummer is the main character.
Oh, interesting. I mean, if I like Telltale, I would have been into that, but
yeah.
I wish I could like that type of shit, chat, because there's a lot of games that I'm missing out on. I just get so fucking bored. Like Wolf Among Us is, I know, very good, and I just cannot enjoy it. I would bet Brightside. I feel like the Tony, you might be able to speak more to it because you've been following this dude for a while. I didn't know anything about this. Brightside's wondering if the dev had a big social media presence before this because it seems like they're selling really well. And Brightside, Brightside, you make your own shit too, right? Like you're working on games and stuff. Because we've talked about this a little bit. Yeah, marketing is really important. So
yeah,
I'm assuming that's why you're asking.
Did a good job of showing up on my Twitter in one way or another. And I think, he did it always seemed fairly genuine, and it wasn't like begging for tension or anything like that. He just kind of like shared updates about the game and interesting screen recordings and stuff like that. And it seemed like a lot of people really jived with what he was showing. So, he had 500 Steam reviews in like day one. He did a really good job.
Oh yeah, bro, marketing is so important. I mean, that's why like it was such a big deal for us to get featured in that showcase, and like, that's why we're doing the stream. It's hard. It takes a lot of energy, and it's a fucking pain in the ass. And like if you don't you don't like doing it, like, you know, it's tough because it's so important. Probably found his core audience in pre-release time. Yeah, totally. It's marketing's hard, and that's a big reason why AAA's do so well, is because they spend I can't remember what the ratio is. It's something like 2/3 of your budget needs to go into marketing. It's some absurdity, and it's real. If you don't do that, and you like don't invest enough in marketing, you can make the sickest fucking product ever. No one knows about it. You go bankrupt and out of business before it's even there. Kind of a weird thing. Let's go with some historical fact here. The cult peacekeeper that won the West in the United States during the 1800s was developed by Samuel Colt for the Texas Rangers. The regular military rejected it offhand and said it was a useless weapon because they were used to line infantry and fighting in the European way. The Rangers took to the Colt 45, the peacekeeper, whatever the fuck it's called. They took to the cowboy gun because they could fire it from horseback, and they were emulating the Comanche in their tactics. So the only way to fight the Comanche was to do that. They were not anywhere near as skilled with a bow and arrow. So the only thing that they could do to compete, because they had muzzle-loading rifles and you had to replace the whole cylinder of a revolver. So when the first cylinders, they could replace the first revolver, that you could replace the whole cylinder, and you'd fire like 5 rounds and then you're done. You had to carry these big bulky things. So when Samuel Colt understood that, created that thing, showed it to the Rangers, they were like, we want this. The military rejected it. So he had to do like a semi-legal, probably illegal partnership with Texas as a republic and the Rangers to get the Colt, peacekeeper to be made, and to sell it to anybody. So marketing is really important. He didn't do any fucking marketing, but when he found his audience, he went straight for him. And that is now an iconic handgun. That is like, it's the cowboy gun. We all know it. It's historic. And like, it's just really interesting. He went completely out of business, completely fucked his life up, like trying to make this gun work. And it just didn't until a very specific time. And it was the Texas Rangers that adopted it to great effect. Buford Tannen. Who the fuck is Buford Tannen, dude? Oh, thank you, anime. Yes, thank you. Thank you for plugging Hyperskate again. Bro, don't bruh me. It's a legit question. I don't know everything, Omni. I know some things. Just tell me the answer. Oh, Back to the Future. Back to the Future 3? Fuck, man. Like, if you had said the first one or the second one, I probably would have been on board. But, 3, I've only seen probably twice in my entire life. I at least knew it was in the Old West and there was a train. So how about that? All right. So you're almost out of the sewers, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I'm almost to the end. So we'll just keep going if you guys don't mind hanging.
No, of course not. That's cool. I just need to go eat. So that's all I'm waiting on.
I think I'm probably under 10 minutes away from the end.
You're good. No worries, dude. Keep going. I've run long on Risk of Rain and other stuff too.
Come on, get up there.
Can you tic-tac off the weird angles? Yeah.
Like, not really. That's like one of the difficult, inconsistent parts, I guess, is that it's sometimes not entirely clear what you can and can't jump off of. It's like,
Omni, you can clip it. There's like a movie slate in the chat somewhere. I think maybe if you hover over the video, you can clip it. Yeah, hover over the video if you're on a PC. And in the bottom right next to full screen is clip, and that'll give you the last 5 minutes, and you can adjust it, and then you can make a clip of it and save the URL, and it'll post to our shit. Alt X, there you go. Anna knows.
Anna's a pro.
Yeah. Anna has clipped me doing silly shit several times already. Thank you, Anna. Alt F4, bro, stop. We need Omni in the chat. We don't need him to Alt F4 his shit.
I'd hope even Omni knows that one.
Oh, of course he does.
Can you Alt F4 on Linux though?
Oh yeah, I forgot he's like a weirdo with all his weirdo machines.
Refuses to use Windows. He was fighting with Satisfactory last night because I like broke it on Linux, but then he figured it out anyway.
Apple Option W, right? Is that it?
And that's just the same as Control W on Windows. Just closes window. Alt F4 is more like Windows assassinate this program no matter what. What are we trying to do here?
Bro, he's locked in, dude. He's got his movement tech down to body motion.
Yeah, I know. I'm leaning and getting into it a lot. This game does that to you. It's like playing a racing game.
Did you miss it? Oh no, you're in there. Oh
yeah,
weird.
I climbed past it a little bit. There's another like hole in the wall. But this should be the last section through here.
Nice. Linux version has was working on was the server only one? What? I don't know what you mean, Omni. Like getting your server set up was a Linux version of it, and then you played on Mac, I'm guessing. To be fair.
Yeah, that's what I meant. But I thought that was still like a Linux server problem that you were dealing with. Oh, wow, I didn't find this one before. Evidence suggests this explorer used that knife to cut their stomach open. There's mold growing from the wound, and from the neck, their helmet is also missing. Some like annihilation type shit right here. Look at that.
Got to get these eels out of my abdomen. It's just full of snakes.
What knife are they talking about? Is there? Oh, there is a knife. Okay, interesting. Anyways,
imagine your viscera turning into a writhing mass of eels. But it feels real weird, and then you become a fungal
where they see the stuff crawling under their skin.
Yeah, it's that's literally what happens to the guy in the pool when he cuts his belly open. All of his guts have turned into eels, like and they're like just writhing around, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
If you guys haven't seen Annihilation, you should definitely see it.
Annihilation is a wonderful, wonderful movie. Big Alex Garland fan. I love his stuff. Also, Ballad of Buster Scruggs, since we were talking about Old West shit. Fucking love that movie.
Another one of Alex Garland's masterpieces.
Not Alex Garland's Coen Brothers, but yeah. It's an anthology and it's only available on Netflix. They did a Netflix exclusive, but it's very good.
Okay, so this is the spot I was talking about where like this light is going to open up over here. And because I have to jump off the top of this to hit this thing, it's going to cause me to like land over here and then look back at the lever to like see if I did it. And in that, the direction is going to point me like right at the place that I need to go. And I was just like, damn, that's
good design.
Well done. That's crazy well done.
So, yeah, that's really good design.
Yeah, you'll see it in action here. Let me climb up. So we need to hit this lever. When we do that, we get down here, and then if we were to look up at it, yeah, there's a light right there that just is kind of in the perfect direction you'd be looking. It just seems super intentional, assuming that it was. But
totally. Guaranteed that's intentional, yeah. Could also be a happy accident. I mean,
yeah.
Good design happens by accident sometimes. All right.
So I believe the landmarks we were reading said something about going through the crystal tunnel. So that would be where we're at here. I got turned around which direction? That one. Okay.
I like the basalt column hanging from the ceiling that you have to like rotate around. That's cool. Do you stay stuck on the wall when you look away?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, until you hit space, and then you will jump away from it. A lot of people made jokes about how socks touch water explode in this level, because that's kind of what happens.
I think water is a little weird. I understand why it's here. I don't like that the water is instant death.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would do that different, because like it would get too samey if it was just another gap and you fell all the way down.
Or if there was like another like bottomless pit below me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tend to dislike water's instant death in video games, especially if it does not appear to be deep enough to instantly kill you.
There's a platform over there. Yeah. Okay.
Nice. There you go. I do like this cave geometry. I think it's really cool. It's very reminiscent to me of the green room in the Whisper.
The like cubey stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That looked like you could go up in that last tunnel you were just looking at.
Oh, yeah. See, didn't even notice. There we go.
Yeah, go left, get there, go up. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Found him. We were always adventurers, pushing the boundaries with our hikes in the conservation areas. When we found this place, we couldn't believe it. We didn't understand what it was. Why was there a massive tunnel deep within the mountain caves? We kept coming back, going farther and farther without telling anyone. It felt like a secret that we had to keep. Like we shouldn't be here or tell anyone about it, but at the same time, we were drawn in. Then we found these caves near the chasm. We pushed so far that we couldn't come back out. I'm glad you're here, though. At least I won't die alone.
Nice.
And then if we go to him, this way. Yeah, I'm glad everybody gets to see this guy because I thought this was a very cool little piece of the lore.
Chat, how do you feel about dying alone?
NBD.
I feel like there's a way I could do it. And this came to me on a like when I was outside touching grass in the woods. If it's quickly. So I mean like of old age, you know. So like if you if you outlive your spouse and you outlive your family, all that kind of stuff, and you're just kind of like at the end of your days, I think I determined this. I wouldn't want to be in a hospital with strangers. I would want to get to a point where I knew it was coming and then be like on some land somewhere with like a chair that I built. And I would just spend my last days there in that chair, like reading, writing, making art, just whatever, being at peace. I feel like that would be the best. But being like strapped up to a bunch of shit in a fucking hospital bed with like people, who don't actually care about you being around you. I feel like that's the worst version of dying alone. Yeah, so I mean outside, bright side. Like, and what did it for me was we were on a river, and I saw this like really nice Adirondack chair with a bird feeder and a bird bath, and it was facing the river. And I was like, I know that that's some like old timers chair, and that's their favorite fucking place in the world. And I was like, that's the type of place that I would want to die alone at. This is how my brain works, guys. We're having like this very peaceful, like chill fucking float, and like
Dude, you're gonna be one of those corpses in Elden Ring that has an item on it. It's just like a desiccated corpse in a chair out in the wilderness.
Yeah, exactly. Jorking it, looking at the fucking skyline.
But that chair smells crazy.
So in my mind, I think the chair smells like wood varnish and probably like pine or oak or something like that.
Have you constructed this chair with your own 2 hands as well? Is that part of this?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm building the chair myself. So it's more of like an acceptance of your mortality in the end of your days. And you're just kind of like, this is where it's going to be. And then you just kind of wait, you know, wait for time. Read, think.
Back out in the massive area that we started in. We actually are looping all the way back around to exactly the place that we started.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yep. So I had gone straight into that little lit up hole that we were kind of talking about when the level started, that, you know, you were talking about how it was too dark. And I said, well, there's this one spot that's lit up that tells you where to go. Before I found that, though, if you kind of inspect around here, you find that there's this elevator here that won't move, and you need to go and turn the power on to it or something like that. So that's what we were doing through that whole path. And now that we're back, like this sewage stuff is flowing now. That wasn't happening before. And now we can go down.
So, Chad, I wasn't trying to be edgy. I often think about death. And it's not weird to me. I tend to be like, we're all gonna die. We're dying from the moment we're born, so might as well think about it, plan for it, so it doesn't sneak up on you and you panic at the edge.
Yeah, I feel like you don't want to get there and like have never thought about it before. That probably
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Whitman Hermit. Yes, 100%. That's exactly what I'm thinking. The likelihood is that my wife will outlive me, though, because men die younger. So, you know, we'll see. Now that I think about it, I kind of hope that I outlive her, because I don't know if she would get on super well without me. Not saying that I could get on well without her, just that I feel like maybe I could be a little more resilient in that way. Like, I think if I died first, I'd be like, oh, this sucks. I'm leaving her behind, you know? Anyway, getting deep now.
This is why we end the stream at 2 hours.
Vince just starts thinking about death.
2 hours, 1 minute. This is what happens, guys.
You guys ever stare into the void? I will say that like the most spooky, like existential shit that I've experienced in life was like being on the beach at like 2:00 in the morning, and it was new moon, so no moon at all, and seeing like the ocean and the sky be the same color is like real fucking crazy, because you're like looking into infinity, and that spooks me out. That gets me going like, oh man, there's some shit in there. Gonna be some elder gods waking up, whispering fucking secrets into my brain.
Oh man, come on, catch that jump. Come on, there we go.
It wasn't a microdose. Bro, I swear, I was just drinking beer. I wasn't doing anything crazy. But no, I like that. I I'm a somewhat solitary person, kind of generally, like only child. I'm not. I have a half sister, but we're 12 years apart or something like that. Um, so yeah, like grew up kind of like by myself, military family. Spent a lot of time just by myself and like learning to be okay with that and like entertain myself. So I like those moments, and then I like think about existence and shit. So yeah, when I would like vacation, with the family, like I would, be partying, get drunk or whatever, but I'd stay up like super late and then just go hang out on the beach by myself, listen to music, stare out into fucking nothing, and think about what it all means. It doesn't mean anything, chat. Oh, hell yeah, Anna. Yeah, small, like, slow pace of life, like country town is my shit. I fucking love that. It's so nice.
I always say like I unironically want to live in the town from Gilmore Girls.
Yo, I could see that. I
They
could
just have
totally
like,
see that.
like everybody knows each other and they have their little like diner that has good food and you can walk everywhere and there's not like overcrowded. Like it looks fucking ideal. Don't get me wrong. I don't know what I'd do, but
The downside is you have to interact with those people and they don't
yes.
change.
And if you don't like them, there's not that many of them and they don't change. Okay.
That's
So
a
yeah,
lifetime
I'm
of
in
beef.
this like escape sequence now, by the way. So the lights are gonna turn on
Oh no,
here.
Crystal, get the crystal, bro.
I'll show you. The goop comes. It's kind of terrifying actually.
Oh shit, bro, watch it.
It's like the
It's
wall of
gooping at
flesh.
you. Oh, the dookie goop.
Yep. Well, we are in the sewers, so. But yeah, so this sequence definitely where I died the most because if you mess it up, you just got to start over each time. But I kind of know the pattern now, so just got to execute.
The lighting got a little blue too as soon as you walk through that.
Oh man, probably
Colors
more,
and dark
more
again,
than
Sag.
anywhere else, but.
Chat, do you like or have you seen Workaholics? Because I called that the dookie goop or whatever the fuck, and it made me think of Workaholics immediately. 5 days alone in a small city, didn't know anyone, only books, nature, naps, and really good internet, good rest. That sounds fucking awesome, Anna. Like, seriously, that sounds very, very peaceful and relaxing, very cozy. Nice, come on.
Oh no, I fucked it up again. Very unforgiving, but.
I think, can you like gain velocity by surfing? It might help.
What do you mean? Oh,
Like, I think
sliding on the walls.
Yeah.
You don't really gain velocity necessarily, but yeah, you just got to kind of like try to keep
There
up
you go.
your momentum and stuff to get into the right spot. Yeah.
Nice. There you go.
This last stream is pretty brutal. Let's see. Come on.
So Anna, is the countryside out there all rainforest, or like I don't know anything about the ecology out in where you're from. An hour sitting in a bench with eyes closed. Oh wow, fuck, that sounds amazing. Yeah, I spend a lot of time on my my porch. I sit outside and read. It's definitely like one of the best things for just, I don't know, returning to center, being myself. Almost done with the Expanse, chat. I'm on book 9. Very exciting. I'm not sure what I want to read next. I think I want to take a quick break from fiction, and maybe I'll just go back and read like Kojima's book again or Rick Rubin's book again. There was something else I wanted to fucking read. Oh, that was it. I want to read like Brave New World again. I think that's probably what I'll take a break with and then dive into another series. Yeah, Rick Rubin's book was great. Brightside, the wildest thing for me is, and I'm not trying to be douchey saying this, but as I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is just affirming that everything I'm doing is right anyway. I was like, all the insanity that I've like, hung my creative career on is what Rick Rubin did. So I got it. Oh, nice college town. Yeah, Anna. College towns are the way.
We did it, chat.
Let's go. Chapter cleared.
You can see I did much better this time around. That escape tunnel chase thing, I probably was 100 deaths the first time through. It was tough.
Oh, you posted photos? Fuck yeah. Thank you, Anna. Cool. Well, I think that's it. Let's wrap it up. That was Lorn's Lure first look. Very interesting game. Really cool that it was made by a solo dev. Obviously very up Tony's alley. He's very into it. Super cool. Yep. I want to know more as he like gets, farther into the game and beats it. I think this falls in the category for me of like, I would rather watch someone play this. Like I'm enjoying watching Tony play it and check it out. So
yeah, it's a game, when I played it, I was like, Vince probably wouldn't want to play this, but I still want him to see it because
yeah, absolutely.
I think it's very cool. Yeah. And there's lots of games you play that I kind of feel that same way about. So yeah.
Also very like aligned with not visually, but in an abstract and a concept way with a lot of the shit that we're trying to do and some of the other things that we're working on. So yeah, without spoiling things for you guys, very cool stuff. Really appreciate everyone hanging out today. You guys are fucking awesome. We will see you next week. Please go like and subscribe and all that shit if you're not already. I'm pretty sure all of you guys are anyway. But please, we still need some more YouTube subs. We kind of petered out at like 725, so we need like yes. And thank you, Anime, for spamming the Hyperskate. If you have a Twitter account, please go follow that. We created that account yesterday for doing our marketing things for Hyperskate, which we just started. So expect to hear more about Hyperskate, see more about it. Expect more content on the socials. Going to be very Hyperskate focused, but we're rolling all that stuff out. So yeah, you guys are fucking awesome. Love the support. Love hanging out with you guys. Really appreciate it.
We'll be back next Wednesday. Like Vince was saying, Anna or anybody else, if there's something that you want to see us do or talk about, or you have questions, or you want us to break down a video game, or you want us to talk about a game dev thing, or you do Unreal and you have a question and you want to ask it to us to see if we know the answer, or you want to see us build something, all of that is on the table. Go in the Discord, message us. We love the ideas. We want to do stuff for you guys. And that's what these streams are all about. So please let us know.
We will see you guys next week. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye, everybody.